All right. Are you here for me?
Yes, sir.
Just as I ended my video. I don't know if you saw me.
No.
I was sort of editing.
Okay.
And my mask was on. I just took it off out there. Okay. York City Police.
Yep.
Just since you made contact, do you have at least a badge number? Or
91.
189.
189. My first name's Tom, by the way.
How you doing, Tom?
I was just taking a self-guided tour inside, and I'm just finishing up now.
Okay. Is that the only reason why you have the camera on inside the building?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tom, you have your ID with you?
I don't have any ID with me, but
no ID?
No, but
how did you get it?
I walked.
You walked?
I wanted to see where my tax dollars are going over here at this building.
There you go.
But have I done something wrong?
Well, they're just worried because you're here with a camera, and they're worried about you harassing people as they were coming out of the building.
I didn't harass anyone.
That was a call I got.
I know you get a call for service, but if I haven't done anything wrong or broken the law, why would you ask for my ID? Just out of curiosity.
Because it's called a mere encounter.
It's a what?
It's a mere encounter at first, and because we were actually dispatched to a call, so it becomes an investigative, basically investigative.
A field investigation.
Good.
But since technically I haven't committed a crime, or I'm about to commit a crime, Pennsylvania isn't a stop and ID state. That's why I was curious why they would call you out here.
Here at the City Hall.
Am I being detained?
Well, technically yes. Until we find out that you're not doing anything wrong, then you'll be free to go. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but I don't understand why I'm being detained. But if I'm being detained, I'm just going to invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. So if you have to do your field investigation, I don't know if you're trying to get answers from a higher up. But at this point, can you have a supervisor respond?
Okay. So there's a very fast way of doing this, and then there's a slow process of getting a supervisor in a patrol vehicle to respond over. Okay. So at this point, if we can identify who you are, we identify that there's no threat, that you're using the camera, or that you're not harassing anybody, all I have to do is step inside, talk to anybody that's inside that is in there. If they say that they're fine with what you're doing, then we leave and you go back to editing your video and finding out where your tax dollars go, and everybody's happy.
Well, here's a suggestion, since there's three of you here. And how do you say that last name? Nice? Yep. Officer Nice? If two of you stay out here with me, because I'm not going anywhere, I'm too old of a man to run. One of you's go in, first floor, second floor, speak to all the employees up there.
Was there anybody that you spoke to directly that would be easier for me to speak to directly?
Virtually, I think I talked to probably 3/4 of the employees that were in there. Some of the offices didn't have anyone.
Okay.
But I wished them all well. You thank them for smiling, and I was very cordial. They were very cordial back.
Okay.
Now, I can say, I think one or two didn't want to be on film or on video, so they just spun around in their chair, and that's what you have to do. Even though you're working for the public, that's fine.
Okay. So, yeah, generally, people are threatened because your camera is a little aggressive, I guess, and that's why people were offended. Does that make sense?
To me, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't, because you make films, right?
That's what I do.
Right. So, if you put yourself in a position to where somebody who doesn't make films, they may find it offensive that they're being put on film, especially if they don't know why, or they don't know who you are, and they don't know what your purpose is.
Right.
So,
now,
too many unknowns for someone to simply just say, I'm comfortable with it. So I think if I had the camera and you were sitting at a desk and I did the same thing, I think that possibly you'd have the same concerns.
I wouldn't myself. I try to understand where people come from and why they would feel the way they do with the camera. But in a public position where they are, if they don't like to be on film or video, they probably shouldn't hold that position, because once they leave their house, they're on cameras everywhere. I mean, the car behind them could have a dash cam on. You know, taking their driving habits and their license plate, and the bank here across the street, McDonald's, they all have cameras. So there's no expectation of privacy.
Surveillance cameras? No, I agree.
In public.
I agree. But if someone's holding a camera like this and they're actually aiming it at someone, I guess that's where the insecurity comes from, versus walking past a camera that may be mounted on a building or on someone's residence. So I guess that's quite the difference.
Yeah. I guess somewhere they might have been alarmed, like I said. They don't want to be on a camera. Now, the one woman, bless her heart, up on the second floor, she didn't want to, but then she came over right up to the camera and she's smiling and everything.
I think the biggest thing I'm hearing from the ladies, one of the guys gonna come down and talk to me, but they just don't feel comfortable with a camera in their face like that.
When you say in their face, they were back in their offices.
Kind of like what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, this is for my safety, because you're the guys with the guns and the stuff.
They aren't. You know what I mean? So for you to say that, like you know what I mean? Like, we're used to it. We deal with it all the time, darling.
Right.
But like, for someone to go in there, it just makes them uncomfortable. You know what I mean? They're entitled to feel that way, right?
Oh yeah, they're entitled. It's their right to freedom, but they are working for the public. But I'm not saying they shouldn't be alarmed. It's our human nature maybe to be alarmed or curious, or hey, what's that guy doing? What's he going to do with that video? And
so working for the public would be a public official, correct?
yeah, although the one woman
That you
says
voted in, not necessarily an office clerk, because an office clerk is not necessarily a public official.
although
Employed by the city,
which is funded by who?
that would be funded by the taxpayers of the city, but they're not citizens, or they're not employers of the citizens.
Well, they're
as
not elected.
like the mayor of the city council would be.
Correct.
So,
But they're still working in a public capacity where anyone can come in off the
I
street.
guess-
I mean, technically everybody does. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, McDonald's, they do too. Regardless, sir, like...
Well, that's private property, a little different.
Right, so just hear me out, okay?
Yes.
So the biggest thing is, they're telling you that they're not comfortable with what you're doing. You went in, you did your thing. Like, by continuing to do it, what benefit are you getting other than saying, hey, I'm allowed? You know what I mean?
Well, I told the one woman when I first started that this is for, and I don't know what I'm going to use this footage for. It might be B-roll footage for a news agency. It might be for my personal use. It might just get deleted. But a lot of times I do these films or digital for the people that are like invalid. They can't get out. They don't know what offices, what you offer here.
That's fine. So you did go in and you did get the footage, right?
Yes.
And the ladies are feeling uncomfortable. They let you in there. You got what you know what I mean. You got some of the stuff. Can you meet them halfway? You got what you wanted, and now help them feel comfortable too.
And what are you suggesting?
That they'd like you to leave.
Well, I was ready to leave. I ended my video, but I'm started it back up.
That's fine. You're welcome.
But I was walking away so I was done.
Oh, perfect. Well, then that's good to go. We're all good then. So
Except,
you're gonna head out.
well,
and you're gonna
since
leave.
officially you're the one who detained me, am I still detained?
No,
Okay.
you're free to go.
Right. Well, sorry that you had to get called out here.
Yeah, that's what we do.
It's okay.
Well, I mean, there's
I'm
real
just-
crime out
I'd like to
here.
Put it this way, we appreciate your cooperation. We appreciate you being cordial with us.
I'm an law-abiding
and
citizen.
explaining to us what you're doing, instead of taking another avenue and not wanting to at least answer some of our questions and talk to us, so that we know where you're coming from, and then now you know where we're coming from. We can meet in the middle, and we're done.
Well, as you know, I reversed my decision because you never know how this is playing out, because I said I'm going to, invoke my Fifth Amendment and remain silent. But that would have just caused a lot more headaches, maybe made things more difficult. But since you guys and gals are being so cordial, I thought I'm going to keep talking to you.
Yeah. So you didn't offend me, so
Oh, okay.
as long we're going to talk to you because you didn't offend us. So we're going to be cordial to you because we're fine. We're okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, but as long as you're okay, we're okay.
That sounds good to me.
Thank you so much.
All right.
And just out of curiosity, The York City Department, your department, how many sergeants are there?
Is it 10?
Oh, 10 sergeants? Okay.
I'd have to count
Possibly
them.
10?
I was thinking 1 or 2 or 3, but then I haven't met them all. But I was just kind of curious because every time I see a sergeant, it's a different person.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, pretty much every department within the department has a supervisor.
okay.
So there has to be at least an immediate supervisor for every patrolman in the building.
And that's why I requested one, because I'm not saying you don't know your job, because I don't know. It looks like you might have been on the force for quite a few years, and you know what you're doing. But it was sort of getting sticky there for a brief second or two, and that's why I requested a supervisor. That's all.
Okay. You no longer need a supervisor?
No.
Okay. All right.
So, well, thank you.
Rest of your day. Hopefully, the sun will poke out.
Yeah, it's supposed to by tomorrow, but actually, I'm enjoying this here.
Okay.
But yeah,
Have a good day.
you too. I'm not going back in there. I got my footage, so rest comfortably. Be safe, everyone.
All right. We appreciate it.
Okay, everyone. Now I'm going to end this video. I ended it prematurely, but sometimes that happens. So from the York City government offices, which officially and initially had a passing grade, now they have a failing grade. Okay, everyone. Once again, York City government offices, initially they had a passing grade, and then they ratted me out, so now they get a failing grade. Even though I was briefly detained, it was pretty much a consensual contact. I just want to give a brief turn behind me of a little bit of a historic downtown York. Everyone, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. First Capital Transparency. Thanks for all my normal viewers, and if it's your first time, thank you, and we shall see you on the next.